Hello, my name is McGowen. I'm a student at Houston Christian University, and I am in this video. I'm going to go through a mock therapy session that I did with a partner. I focused on person-centered therapy. So you'll hear me first profile my client and kind of give you my therapeutic assessment. Then I'll focus on three specific techniques that I'm using within the video with the timestamps. And then lastly, I'll kind of wrap things up and give you my key takeaways. All right. So, my client is Michaela. She has suffering from postpartum depression. She's a new mother for the second time recently, has a 3 month old, and she's struggling because she really isn't finding it difficult to bond with the new baby. And she hadn't struggled like this with the first child. Her one of her other areas of struggle is that she just finds herself not being motivated to do everyday tasks. She has some struggles with identity right now because she went from being a working mother to being a full-time mom, and she's just not getting the fulfillment from being a mother that she got from being in the workplace. And I think because she is not being fully fulfilled when she feels like she should feel fulfilled, that's causing her to have quite a bit of guilt. Another source of guilt for Michaela is that it seems that her husband is doing a good job of bonding with the new baby, and she sees that, and initially she feels joy, but she it also reminds her of where she feels like she's failing, and so that's causing quite a bit of issues for her. And I noticed throughout the entire session that Michaela is having issues really voicing her feelings. It's almost as if she's not giving herself permission to say how she feels. She wants to maintain balance and she wants to be non-confrontational, it seems. And so she's doing that by pushing her own feelings down and not allowing herself to really experience what it is that she's going through. And so next, I'll move on to a couple of different techniques and strategies that I used during the video. So the first one that I used was self-disclosure. That was at about the 2 minute and 50 second mark. And so my whole overarching use of this is number one, to build therapeutic alliance, right? I realize in person-centered therapy that therapeutic relationship is really the key to unlocking the client, in this case, Michaela, being able to self-actualize. And once she starts to self-actualize, she can start formulating goals and then take steps towards those goals, right? So at this point, really, we're still trying to build that therapeutic alliance. Again, a theme you'll hear multiple times is I was trying to give Michaela permission to experience her feelings, right? To not push them down, but to express herself in a way that is going to be revealing and that she can take some learning away from. I try to not focus on my wife. In this case, I use a story saying my wife experienced issues with postpartum depression. I tried to really focus on Michaela and how it could be helpful to her. And my whole goal was to empower her, right? To let her know that everything she needs to reach her goals, to overcome this depression and this sadness is already within her. We just have to kind of peel back those layers. And the more we peel back the layers, the more she's going to realize she has the ability to leverage our relationship to get to the positive place that she wants to be. Okay. The next technique that I used at about the 6 minute and 43 second mark is unconditional positive regard. And this isn't the only place that you'll see it. You'll notice that there'll be multiple times where I'm trying to encourage Michaela, again, give her permission to feel her feelings, to experience life exactly how it is. And so my hope is that as I encourage her, I can build trust with her and give her permission again just to be human, right? And let her know that she doesn't need to be perfect, but I'm not here to judge her, right? My goal here is to be a safe space for Michaela to be able to voice whatever feelings or issues that she's having so that she can kind of maintain the integrity of her home life, but she can utilize the therapeutic alliance and the therapeutic relationship that we have to voice her opinions, to get her feelings out, and to ultimately move to a place of being better. And another way I try to show this unconditional positive regard is to assign her some homework, right? You'll hear me talk about giving her a journaling assignment where she needs to write about her feelings for 5 minutes a day. And again, I'm thinking because Michaela struggled throughout the session verbally telling me how she's feeling, my thought is if she maybe it's easier if she's able to write it down. And so that's why I gave her that homework assignment because I think the more that we can extract her experience and her feelings, the deeper we can dive into her actually being able to formulate some paths forward. Okay. The last technique that I used at about 8 minutes and 46 seconds was the crystal ball, the miracle question technique, right? And so because she had issues voicing her feelings, my thought is if I can focus on what the goal is, what does better look like? And if we can figure out what better looks like, we can kind of reverse engineer that to get to some goals and to get to some action steps that get her closer to where she wants to be, right? Again, much of my focus and the techniques and everything that I did was about her being able to articulate her feelings and her thoughts and what she's experiencing, because that leads to self actualization. And then that leads to Michaela being empowered to realize that she has within her what she needs to get to better. And then also, I was focused on building congruence with this technique because I felt like Michaela would kind of say one thing, but her body language was telling me something else. I was picking up on other things in her body language. And so I want to align how she feels on the inside with what she's actually saying and experiencing outwardly. And so, again, this is just one of those, all three of these techniques were really focused on her being able to articulate her feelings, but also building that congruence so that she can align her inward thoughts with her outward experience as well. Okay. So, my summary of the experience. Applying the techniques in person-centered therapy was a lot more difficult than I anticipated. They seem simple on the paper, but when you actually go to try to apply them in a way that is fluid, there are some challenges that arise. The second is realistic timelines. I understand that a lot of beginning therapists or therapists in training want to fix problems quickly, and specifically with person-centered therapy, that's usually not the case. It takes quite a few sessions to build that alliance, but then once it is built, then it's a great tool of leverage for clients. One thing I did notice throughout the video is that I felt my personality and just my natural want to care for clients really came through strongly, and so I was pleased with that overall. So lastly, wrapping up key takeaways, the are things that I feel like I could do better is number one, allowing the client to lead. I was so eager to help that I was leading her with some of my questions. And that's something that really gets in the way when you're trying to practice person-centered therapy. So that's something I'll certainly have to work on. The use of silence, I felt like if I could have just let some of the things that Michaela said breathe for a bit, it would have helped me to formulate better questions. And it also would have helped her, I think, to give her a break and allow her to process what she's saying and what I'm asking. And then the last thing is just diving deeper into details. Um, I have to ask questions that are going to get me deeper and deeper and start to pull back those layers, because the more we can pull back those layers, the more Michaela was going to be able to self-actualize, and the better she's going to be able to take advantage of the therapeutic alliance that we're forming. So overall, it was a great experience. Lastly, you see my references here. I appreciate you watching, and thank you.